First story. A comrade endorsed a detrimental companion's romantic involvement with a married gentleman and severed our relationship after I disclosed her affair to the gentleman's spouse. Presently, after a span of 2 years, she has reconnected with me, tearfully lamenting that the detrimental companion is now engaged in infidelity with her own husband. Thus, I remarked, you have reaped what you have sown. Background. I, a 35-year-old woman, maintained friendships with Julia, who is also 35, and Alex, who is 34 years old. Our companionship dates back to our university days, and our once intimate group of 3 has since expanded to a collective of 7. This narrative centers on the relationship between Julia and Alex. It was 2 years ago when we became aware that Alex was involved in a clandestine affair with a married man. Her rationale was that he was discontented, prompting his search for external validation. I counseled her to terminate the affair, as it was unhealthy and he would not forsake his wife. She disregarded my advice and accused me of being an inadequate friend. All of my friends were opposed to her actions, but they viewed it as not their concern. Consequently, I reached out to the wife and relayed to her all the details I possessed. Who the wife was because the married man once introduced us, and everyone in my friend group turned against me, especially Julia, because she thinks I betrayed my friend. She stopped talking to me because if I can't betray a close friend of mine, then I can't betray her as well. Alex was heartbroken because the married man decided he wanted to work on his marriage, so he broke things off with Alex. Julia was with Alex, and I was shunned from our group. What has happened now? A few weeks ago, I got a call from Julia. She was crying and telling me that Alex betrayed her. She has been having an affair with her husband. She is heartbroken because she has supported her, and this is how she repays her. Even our friend group is divided. I was angry at that moment. She ignored me for 2 years and badmouthed me. I said that I was wrong. I literally warned her that Alex was toxic. So, I told her that she should have expected this from Alex. Did she really think she would show loyalty towards you when she already did something immoral before? I knew the moment she made excuses for having an affair with a married man. Her morals were compromised. I am not religious, but I do have a minimum respect for other people and their feelings. Suffice it to say, I am not surprised she went after her husband. I do think I went too far. Some of my other friends said I was too harsh on her, even if what I said was the truth. I should have been more sensitive because she is going through a divorce. I do sympathize with Julia, but I also feel like as friends, sometimes we need to tell them the harsh truth. I know I said all of this when I was angry, but a part of me says she needed to hear that. Was I wrong? Relevant comments. Day. Was there any benefit to telling her? It seems a little petty. I agree that it was petty, but at that moment, I was angry. She ostracized me for telling the wife the truth and breaking up Alex's relationship because friends should stick together, and she also took part in justifying the affair. I was just enraged by her hypocrisy. Update. I have read many of your comments. First of all, I want to point out that I do not regret telling the wife about the affair. I do not think I did the wrong thing. My friend was doing something bad and, in my opinion, psychopathic. She happily contributed to destroying a family, knowing the man she was dating was a married man. I know the blame should be on him, but she also needs to take accountability for her actions. If I was getting cheated on, I would want to know. So I guess the wife also wanted to know. I know a lot of you have shamed me, but just know I do not care. I was not the partner, so why should I take the blame? I was simply a messenger. Now, for the actual update, I did speak to Julia and said that I was sorry. I shouldn't have punched her down when she was already going through some stuff. I did not want to add to it. I know a lot of you have told me to just cut her off, but I realized I was too harsh on her, even if what she did 2 years ago was wrong. She came to me because she needed a friend. I can sympathize with her in her tough times. She just went on and on about how she felt betrayed by Alex when she had always defended her, even when her own parents disowned her. Just out of curiosity, I asked her if she had plans to divorce her husband or work things out. She said she was going for a divorce. Her husband is begging her for another chance and has even said he will cut off all contacts with Alex, along with the offer of opening their marriage on her end. But she is headstrong about her divorce. She did ask for my forgiveness, and I do forgive her, but I still do not want anything to do with her. I do feel sorry for her and hope she finds peace, but our friendship will never be restored to its former glory. She said that she understands, and this is probably her karma, and God is punishing her. She is quite religious. That's the end. I hope she takes him to the cleaners, and from the grapevine, I heard that Alex has been shunned by my former friend group because now they are afraid she might go after their husbands. As for Alex, I do believe she is a psychopath who enjoys breaking up families. I do not think any amount of exposure will work on her because she has no shame. She deliberately goes after married and committed men, and I am glad I cut ties with her before she could get to me. That's it. Have a great life and stay away from all the aches and pains of this world. Relevant comments. Blue Green 1956. Ash, if I was getting cheated on, I would want to know. So I guess the wife also wanted to know. The classic Reddit response is everybody should think the way I do, and if I want to know, then everyone else should want to know. I was simply a messenger, not 1 ounce of accountability for your own actions. As usual. What accountability are you, dumb? Why should I take accountability when I did nothing wrong? I told the truth. If you were dumb enough that you would not want to know the truth about your husband's affair, that's on you. You want to accept your spouse's cheating, that's on you. Most of us sane people would like to be informed. Invite additional 8463. Julia deserves it. End of story. She helped with an affair for her friend and got exactly what she deserved for her troubles. She is the poster child for why you don't help people do immoral and unethical things. The only smart thing she's doing is getting a divorce and admitting what she did wrong. She needs to figure out why she helped Alex in the first place. It's basically a female version of Rose before H. She wanted to put her friend first. Second story. Op's mom revealed on his 16th birthday that she is actually his sister, and his father, who abandoned them, was never in the picture. Opish guilty. I don't know why I feel so much guilt about this whole situation. This happened 5 days ago, 1 week after my 16th birthday. So, my mom's sister explained our entire family situation. Her mom, my biological mom, was assaulted as a teenager, 15, and was forced to keep the child because of her parents. Eventually, giving birth to my mom, they struggled a lot during this time, and my mom was resentful of her. So, she moved away as soon as she was 18 and went to NC. Her mom began spiraling with drugs, alcohol, etc. Once she left and eventually ended up pregnant again with me around the time my mom was 23. However, she was deemed unfit to raise me, so they managed to contact my mom, and she agreed to take me in. My bio mom never really recovered and ended up overdosing a year later. This completely surprised me because I genuinely never had a clue I wasn't actually my mom's child. We look very much alike, and she went to great lengths to become my mom. She said that I don't need to call her mom anymore and that I deserve to know the truth before I turn 18. This upset me, and I absolutely disagreed with her and said that no matter what, she would always be my mom, and I would always call her that because she is in every way my mom. We both cried over this and hugged, and I thanked her for telling me the truth. The thing that is eating away at me, though, is that she sacrificed so much to raise me, and I can't repay her in any way. She hasn't dated at all, even though I know that she wants a partner. She also changed professions to better accommodate me. She has done so much, and I can't repay her in any way, and I haven't always been the best to her either. I was definitely difficult as a child, and recently, I haven't really been listening to and respecting her as much as I should. I know I've probably said some mean things over the years, mostly around wanting to be with my dad. She initially said that she had a husband that abandoned us when I was born. All of this just made me feel so much guilt and sadness, and I know if I talk to her about it, she'll just reassure me that she is happy and I shouldn't worry, but I can't get rid of this feeling. I've decided that I'm going to be the best son ever and do everything she says from now on, but I still can't get rid of this feeling. I don't know what to do. Relevant top comments. Why Kagan? Your sister is an amazing woman and an incredible person and deserves all the love and respect in the world. As for you handling this so well, it takes a lot of skill in a person. Be proud of yourself and always believe in yourself. Thanks, I'll try my best. My love for her is probably at an all-time high. I wish I'd known earlier so that I could have always treated her this way. Traditional Shop 6800. Talk to your mom, thank her, and tell her you are grateful for how she raised you, and now she should think about herself too. Encourage her to date again and find a partner. Up. Okay, I will. I think it'll take some time to figure out the right words to say to her. Galates wants 7001. Repay her by being the best person you can be. Help her. Be respectful, study, and always be grateful. Up. Absolutely. We be the best son I can. You have to also give yourself a little grace here. Your mom sounds amazing and deserves all the best, but what she clearly wanted for you was to give you a normal, stable childhood. It's very normal for children to act out sometimes, to say things in anger, and to be difficult. It's all a part of growing up. The good thing is that it's easy to see from your reaction to what she told you that she did an amazing job and that you're well on your way to becoming a great person. She will be proud of you. Take all of this and let it strengthen those good qualities. Do your best for her and yourself, but don't beat yourself up for past mistakes you can't change. You don't need to repay her for the choices she made. You just need to live a life that makes you both happy. Op, thank you for the advice. I'll definitely try my best to feel proud of myself and also make her happy. Mini update. I've literally been tearing up from all the comments and messages from everyone. I am honestly so grateful for all the kind words and reassurance. Genuinely, thanks so much. Not much of an update really, but I thought I would still share. I took a few pieces of advice and have done them randomly during the day. Firstly, Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I hope you had a great time. Me and my mom had a few things planned for today, and I got back just over an hour ago. We went to the cinema, then a restaurant, and ended the day with bowling. She had an absolute blast and was happy throughout. I got her a gift too. It was a photo-engraved bracelet, which I gave her at the end of bowling. One piece of advice I got was to say things that showed her I cared about her. So I said, "You're the best," and hugged her after the cinema. I also said, "I love you," when giving her the bracelet, which made her cry. I still feel the guilt, but I'm not going to let it get me down. I don't want more stress, especially with exams coming up. I saw a lot of comments mentioning that I shouldn't keep my feelings bottled up, so I am planning on conveying all my feelings to her soon. I'll probably write a letter because I know I'll probably start crying before I even start speaking. I think that will definitely give me some peace of mind. Thanks all again for taking the time to read this. Also, I completely forgot how biology works in my last post. She would be my half-sister, not my sister, since I doubt our fathers were the same. But regardless, I'm still going to call her mom. Third story. My boyfriend was drunk, and I accused him of cheating on me and ghosted him. I now regret it and want to reconcile. Throw away because our friends follow my main account, and I don't want them to know about this. Background. I met my boyfriend in college when we had a class together. He was struggling because of his party lifestyle, but I, being a studious introvert, was thriving. He begged me to help him, and I relented. Eventually, I hated his guts, but for some reason, he made me fall in love with him. He was such an open book too, and waited patiently for me. I didn't let him kiss me until 4 months into dating, and I didn't sleep with him until our 1-year anniversary. He was my first, and I really wanted to be sure I was giving my virginity to someone who truly loved me. I didn't ask him to, but he slowly gave up partying and drinking for me, and we both found a new friend group in college that we've maintained to this day. He gave up everything willingly because he said he'd rather spend time at home with me. The one thing from his past that he didn't give up on was his childhood best friend, whom we'll call Max. Max always hated me. I think he blames me for thinking that he sees my boyfriend only a few times a month and that he isn't fun anymore. He also openly questions our relationship in front of both of us and says stuff like, "You'll come to your senses eventually," when talking to my boyfriend. I told him I wasn't comfortable, so since then, he never let Max around me. But they still hung out, and I really didn't mind because I trusted him. Okay, so this is what happened recently. Max got engaged to his long-term off-again girlfriend and invited both of us over to celebrate. It would have been just the 4 of us. Restrictions have been lifted in our area as long as contact and the number of people involved were kept to a minimum. I declined, which in retrospect was a big mistake. BF offered to stay with me, but I told him he didn't need to and I'd understand if he wanted to support Max, even though I despised the guy. Again, this was a mistake in retrospect. The next morning, BF came home crying. We are living together. He was still clearly hungover, so I bathed him and put him to bed. When he woke up a few hours later, he told me everything. Apparently, he got really, really drunk at the party. Max's fiancée, who I guess I'll call Homewrecker or HM, was very flirty with him the whole night and helped him when he passed out. The next thing BF says he remembers is that when he woke up, HM was giving him a BJ while he was naked. He says he was too drunk and just went along with it while Max watched. According to BF, they're into the whole hot wife thing, whatever that means. The next thing BF says he remembers is waking up naked next to HM with a bunch of used condoms around them. He rushed home after that. My heart is breaking right now, guys, and I really don't know what to do. He has been begging me for a second chance, even showing me he blocked Max and HM on everything. He promised never to contact them again. He also swears to not drink when I'm not around anymore and that he'll keep his phone unlocked so I can look through it whenever I want, no questions asked. He kept telling me how much he regretted it, how much he loved me, and that I was the only one. The sad thing is I believe him. This man was my first everything, and I feel like my world is just crumbling around me. A few weeks ago, we were thinking about getting married and how many kids we wanted. Now, I can't even look at him without my heart breaking into pieces. All this happened a few days ago, and I've barely left the room. He's giving me space, but is also doing the little things that make me fall for him again. He keeps the house clean. He's been cooking me the food I like and leaving short love notes beside it on the dinner table. I'm lost right now. I so desperately want to forgive him, but every time I look at him, I can't shake off the image of him being with another woman. I know I was never his first, but he kept promising me I was going to be his last, and he broke it. Despite everything, though, deep down, I still love him, guys. I don't know where to go from here. I'm crying just typing this out, but I don't have anyone to talk to about it. Usually, when problems this big come up in my life, he's the one I turn to for help. I love him, but I don't know if I can trust him anymore. What should I do? Will a couples counseling help? Should I just cut my losses and end it? He seems very remorseful, and he did confess to the whole thing immediately after. Should I give him a chance? Sorry for the long rant. I'm just lost right now. Update. Posted 3 days later. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to those who gave me really solid advice in my last post. A lot has happened in the last few days. Sorry I haven't been replying to any of you. I just didn't think I was in the right headspace to actually hold a meaningful conversation. Rest assured, I did read all of your replies, even the really mean ones. So, where do I begin? I think some of you would be delighted to know that he left me for not being supportive. It stinks to be me, I guess. You guys were right. I am a sucky girlfriend. He's now off to be with his brand new supportive girlfriend. Nah, just kidding. But some of you would have wanted that to happen, right? Here's what really happened. After reading some of your comments, I started to see things from a different perspective. I never really thought of it as anything other than cheating, and it didn't help that when he came home to me that morning, he claimed to have cheated on me. I guess my mind just started going to a dark place where logic goes out the window. It's definitely not an excuse, but I really wasn't in the right mindset after he said he cheated. I guess it was after the realization that this man would never willingly hurt me that all the anger and pain of being cheated on were washed away. I couldn't really bring myself to talk to him at first. He was on the couch, blankly staring at whatever was on TV. He looked empty. I sat beside him and told him I had no intentions of breaking up. Well, he came to life almost instantly, and before I knew it, his arms were wrapped around me. He was shaking, and I could tell he was crying. I was too. Remember when I said I felt my world was crumbling around me? For the first time in what seemed like forever, I could feel it starting to fall back into place. I didn't realize how much a simple embrace can be calming. Everything was starting to feel right again. Then we talked. He apologized again for cheating, and when I told him I didn't think he cheated, he had a puzzled look on his face. I asked him if he gave consent, and he said no. I tried to explain, but I guess he still doesn't realize that he was actually taken advantage of. He said the first thing that came to mind after what happened was that he cheated and was so afraid of losing me. This man, after being drugged, his first thought was how much he betrayed me instead of how he betrayed himself. I was fled. He said his first response had to be to win me back, which is why he's been going the extra mile the last few days, taking care of me from a distance. When it was my turn to speak, I told him how sorry I was for not being supportive, for jumping to conclusions without actually thinking about it clearly, which was pretty out of character for me. There were a few more exchanges after that, and the conversation shifted to Max and HM. I told him that I never wanted him anywhere near Max or her again, and he agreed. I've always thought he was a bad influence, but I never thought he'd take it this far. So, I never stopped him from seeing his ex-best friend. He showed me his phone, which didn't have a lock anymore. He said he blocked both of them on everything but wanted to keep the open phone policy, so I can be sure he isn't back in touch with Max. I urged him to file a police report, but he was against it. He said that even if he were she'd, he couldn't bring himself to do it. I didn't really know about it at first, but his family and Max's family had a very long history of friendship. Their moms were college best friends, and their dads worked together. Not only were the two of them close, but even their families were close. I thought they were just neighbors, but it was more than that. I didn't know because every time I visit his family, the topic is never brought up, and I haven't really met any of Max's family except for his little sister, who came by to play with BF's little brother. He said he didn't want to ruin decades of friendship and would be content with just going and see with Max. He's getting tested later today, and I hope that he didn't give my man anything. I'm also pretty confident my BF didn't get HM pregnant because Max absolutely hates children. So I imagine HM would be on birth control, given how many dudes she sleeps with. BF and I came to the conclusion that Max most likely set the whole thing up to break us apart, so he could have his best friend back. After all, they used to be partners in crime when it came to parties and picking up women. I would like to point out that I did not force him to change. He himself chose to do so, but I know he did it for me, which just makes me fall in love with him even more. When we first met, he was still the Playboy party animal. But he told me after hanging out with me for a few weeks that he didn't really feel like sleeping around anymore. I didn't really believe him at first, obviously. I've also noticed that a few people were bashing me for making him wait 1 year for sex. I'm sorry, I just have different views. I believe that sex is for people who love each other, so I wasn't willing to sleep with anyone I wasn't deeply in love with and who didn't love me back. And who doesn't love me back. I don't judge people who sleep around. My boyfriend has a high body count, but I don't really hold it against him. Back then, I just wanted to be sure I wasn't just a girl he bangs or a conquest, but someone who he actually loves and sees a future with, considering his past. I was very skeptical for a while, and I had my walls up the entire time, but he slowly tore them apart, and I'm glad he did. That reluctant yes when he first asked me out was, and still is, one of the best decisions I've ever made. Max's plan had the opposite effect. It's rough now, but I can see this experience making our relationship even stronger. I love him more than ever, believe it or not, and I'm sure he feels the same way. The last few days have taught us both how much our lives would be without each other. I guess it made us value each other more. Not that either of us took the other for granted. And yes, we are both getting therapy, both individually and as a couple. To be honest, I'm still shaken over the whole thing. Even when we cuddle, I can still imagine her having her way with him, and I can't help but cry about it. If I'm still shaken up by the whole thing, I can only imagine how much worse it is for him, but I'll be there for him every step of the way. I know he didn't cheat. I know he won't break my heart. I know that he loves me. I know that I love him. It's hard right now, but knowing those facts makes me confident we can see this through. One Redditor pointed out that we were soulmates, and I like to think that we are. I can't see myself being with anyone but him. Thanks again for all your advice and for making me see things differently. I'll try to reply and answer questions when necessary and when I can. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.